Okay, man, I'm just throwing this out here. What about if the Pistons get Terry Rozier? I heard that he could be buying him out, looking to move him. Heard he don't want to do a buyout because he may not get picked up because the NBA is still investigating him for gambling, or he's still being investigated by the feds for gambling. And then I guess when they officially close their case on him for gambling, then it's probably going to be the NBA going to conduct the misconduct. So that may stop him. But let's say, for the sake of God, he gets cleared. Um, should they, take him on? You know what I'm saying? And obviously Beasley would be the smart guy, but then again, they do need a point guard, somebody that can handle the rock unless they pass it over to Marcus Sasser this year. Um, I like Rozier. I think he'd be a good Piston. I think in Charlotte, um, I just think he wasn't a big enough voice. I mean, what's so crazy about it? Maybe he just wasn't a. I don't want to say that. But Tobias came to Detroit. He had a lot of respect. He helped him, and he had help. Tobias, Tim Hardaway Jr., two of the nicest guys in the league. Malik Beasley, another great spirited guy. They got it together. They talked about how they love how Ryan also contributed to the culture change. For Charlotte, it was really just Terry Rozier, and to try to get Taj Gibson down the line. I think he was going by the end. But I think Terry would be a good fit. Tough guard, tough. I think he went to Louisville, played for Rick Pitino. He tough. I think in a winning situation, I think if I'm the Lakers, I'm looking at him too. But, tough guard. I think he one of those guys that's tough, pit bull guy. I think he a good guy to bring off the bench. Is he as pure as Dennis Schroeder? No, but everything, that you liked about Schroeder as far as toughness and hitting big shots, I think Rozier is more of a pure scorer. I think Schroeder is more of a pure point guard. But I think Rozier, fits everything that's a Piston. That he tough, he gritty. I mean, he could score. I think he'd take care of the basketball here. I think he play. You put certain players you put in winning situations, they game change. Kevin Love got put into a winning situation in Cleveland. He didn't put up the gaudy numbers that he put up in Minnesota, but he changed. Chris Bosh, you got put in Toronto. He did all little dirty work like Kevin Love that don't get statistically tracked to make Miami put Miami over the top. You know what I'm saying? So you need those guys, and I think Rozier does not only does the dirty work. Let's be real. For any given night, Terry Rozier can be the best player on the floor. And when you in those series with the Knicks, or series, with Cleveland, if you can get a guy that you can bring off your bench, or something happen, you can start him down, or you can play down the stretch, and he can be the best guy he can be the best player off the bench at any given time. I think you value that. You just hope that a lot of that gambling stuff. I mean, they've been investigating the guy for 365. I feel like right now, and they can't find nothing on him. Why they keep holding these halos, these evil halos over these guys' head? Let them go live their life. Guess what? If you call the dogs off and still investigate them, if they cheat, you gonna catch them. Just like we done investigating you and then keep an eye on them, and I guarantee you will catch them. But like I said before, I think Rozier, I was just thinking about it today. I had read something about him in Miami wanting to buy out a couple weeks ago. Something else came up today. And I was thinking, I'm like, man, he's a great Piston. I know in Charlotte, they kind of was like, it was just him. And, LaMelo Ball, the man, you can't reel his daddy couldn't even reel him in. He's a wild child. If LaMelo took basketball more serious, you don't take basketball serious enough. When they give guys all-stars too early, they give guys shoes too early. And Charlotte is a hellified place. It ain't like it used to be in the 90s where they had one Blockbuster and 3 McDonald's. It's a developed city. That's some of them things about those cities that were not developed in the 90s and the early 2000s, and they started their development in the 2000s. Look at Livonia. Added that strip. I remember they was building that strip mall right off Middlebelt and Plymouth. Put an Amazon there. I remember Westland was another city that was like that. They ain't had nothing in Westland. You used to go out to Westland, and apartments used to be $300-$400 for a 1-bedroom apartment because there wasn't nothing out there. All of a sudden, you put the Crunch Fitness, the other Edge Fitness out there. You put a Golden Corral out there. I think a Famous Dave's, that hibachi buffet out there. The MJR. You start putting things out there and stuff of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It becomes developed, and guess what? When a developed city meet inflation, this is what you get. This is what you get. Novi, Wixom, Farmington Hills at one point, they wasn't as developed. Now they put things out there that develop city. And so when inflation hits developing cities, that's worse than hit developed cities. And the other good thing about developing or cities that just develop, all the shit new. That's a good or a bad thing, because some of the houses in Detroit that was, you know, older, they built better than their newer houses. But that's another story for another day. So that's why, like, you see these developing cities pretty much, you know, started to hit their boiling point when inflation hit. So I'll tell y'all, anytime y'all think about economics real quick, anytime they have to raise the price to take people to work, for people to go to work, that price ain't coming down. But also the issue with that as well too. So if they start giving people $15, $20 an hour, and people getting 10 or 12 to do a job, price of living gonna shoot up above that. They always want to keep people below the poverty line. They always want to keep people below the poverty line. You got to remember that. They always want you living here, and they want they always got to be price of living, you finding a way to make it. This is why I always tell people, you know, keep your overhead low. So you can live here, but you should be living here. So if something happened, you got this gap right here. Don't, especially if you're a single person, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, like I said, you know, LaMelo, if Father couldn't reel him in, how could Terry Rozier? Charles Lee can't reel him in. The coach before that, Michael Jordan was there, couldn't reel him in. He don't play winning basketball. So he probably need to go somewhere like San Antonio or somewhere with some type of structure. But yeah, Rozier would be a good Piston, man. I think tough. This bad that's hanging over his head, but he'd be a good fit for the Pistons. Any given day, he could be the best player on the floor. And you need that off the bench, you know. Then you ask yourself, you know, what about Sasser? And we'll see, but he can shoot it, he can score it, he can defend. A veteran, pretty sure he want to win. I think it'd be a good fit for him. Change the scenery, and if it don't work in Detroit, then it's probably time to go overseas or time to hang it up. So I think you get the best version of him, you know, the best version of him, man. I think he'd bring a lot to Cade, he'd bring a lot to Sasser, he'd bring a lot to the locker room. But sometimes, you know, a lot of them dudes get down there in Miami and they care more about the lifestyle than anything. You know, if I was down there, I'd be trying to draft some Jack Campbell type of country boys down there, honestly. But you know, the cookie don't always fall that way. But yeah, I love to see Rozier in the Pistons jersey if he get clear. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link tree, find me on X, Instagram, Facebook, Kick, to wherever I'm at. Everything inside the link tree, my other platforms. I appreciate the love and support. Let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. Peace.